Tell me more about the revolt of the Admirals. What happened with that?
So after World War II, the Joint Chiefs, there's a huge budget, cut. I mean, nothing's ever happened like World War II, and World War II, like nothing's ever happened like the end of World War II, where the military, the U.S. military prior to World War II has always had this sort of cycle where they build up to deal with whatever conflict, whether it was the American Civil War or the First World War or the Second World War. They grew from sort of a nucleus force to this massive industrial, mobilized, military, and then after it, you shrink back down to that nucleus force again, so you can rebuild again later. After World War II, the U.S. military or the U.S. public has finally learned its lesson. We can't shrink back. You can't be in this industrial or this era of total war and not field planes and massive ships. You have to keep a residual force afloat and in the air. But there's still, you can't continue to spend what they were spending in World War II. So the military shrinks drastically. So all of the military entities are competing for very limited resources. But now that all of the world's, or all of the United States' enemies have been defeated, the one that still exists is the Soviet Union, and planners don't expect that this is going to be a massive naval effort. The Soviet Union at that point doesn't have a particularly big navy or anything like that. We don't anticipate that we're ever going to need to land ships in the Soviet, or land troops on the Soviet Union, because we have this huge presence in Western Europe. So planners in the Army and the Air Force are claiming that they need more of the resources, that the Navy doesn't need resources, because we're never going to have amphibious warfare again. It's just not going to happen. Anything that the Navy could have done, all the troops that the Navy could have transported, the Air Force can do it with planes. Or we're already ashore anyway. So take the money from the Navy, give it to the Army, especially give it to the Air Force. So the Air Force and the Army have convinced most of the top decision makers in the Truman administration that they're going to pull money, rob from Peter to pay Paul. Well, the Navy sees this prospect of what is about to be done to them, about to be done to their service. And not only are they about to lose all of this money and all of this status, but they're about to be sort of declawed. The Navy's not going to be like a force, an offensive warfare force anymore. And the Navy planners are, they're panicking. Not just panicking for their service, but they realize how difficult, how complex expeditionary warfare is, and they're doing everything they can to save their service, and by saving the service, save the country. So they essentially stage a coup. They not a coup, but they start leaking leaking stuff to newspaper columnists. I talked about Merritt Edson, Red Mike Edson. He resigns from his commission in the Marine Corps so he can get out and start protesting publicly. Eventually, the clamor gets so bad that they have to call a committee hearing in the House in Congress, and it's for several days. It's a big to do. Like they bring in just about every admiral, every famous admiral from World War II to testify in front of Congress.
Yeah, I got a list of names here: Leahy, Blandy, Nimitz, Halsey, Spruance, Kincaid, Connolly, Carney, Burke. Every blue water hero save Kelly Turner, Farragut, and John Paul Jones. That is just basically everyone you could. Every pipe-hitting naval leader goes in and makes their case.